We're here to clarify Islam. What do the Muslims truly believe? Do the Muslims believe that there's some spaceship somewhere out in the universe called the mothership that's going to drop bombs on America? The Muslims don't believe in this. This is not Islam. We have come to clarify to you, to invite you to understand how you can renew your relationship with your Lord on this day. This is a historic day. Believe me, listeners, today is a historic day. To the best of my memory and my knowledge, this day has never happened. Where true Islam, the real Islam is being presented on such a large scale. Without any additives, without any fillers, without any preservatives. You're getting it pure. My beloved listeners, the time has come, especially today living in the United States, where things have to be made clear. Unfortunately, perception for us has become reality. Most of you here in the city, because of the false Islamic influences, the pseudo-Islamic influences, the neo-Islamic influences, most of you probably don't believe that Muslims are terrorists. If we went to another part of the United States, yes, probably. But most of you here in the city, because you have so many relatives or friends or associates or neighbors that are Muslims, you know that an average guy that grew up here on Peshine Avenue is not going to strap a bomb to himself and blow a building. You know that. So there's no real need for me. My brother may come and do it after me, but there's no real need for me to sit in front of you and talk about those issues, even though they're important. Who is Muhammad? Muhammad, that man who was born 1400 years ago, is the end, is the finality of a succession of 124,000 prophets. 124,000 prophets, 313 messengers that were sent to mankind since the beginning of mankind with the prophet, the first human being, Adam. And Muhammad, who was born and reared in the city of Mecca and the Arabian Peninsula, is that man whom Allah sent down from the heavens the Quran. And he is the one, 1400 years ago, after that book was revealed to him, he was the one that recited it, the Quran. We mentioned some minutes ago that it is a book that has no doubt in it whatsoever, and we mentioned some verses from that book. That man, Muhammad, we believe without doubt that he is the best example for all human beings to follow. And that there's no human being who deserves to be followed other than him. And once again, I repeat, we're not talking about Elijah Muhammad. We're not talking about the people who have the bow ties and used to sell in the 70s the fish, or the people today that sell the newspapers and the bean pies. We're not talking about these people, and we're not talking about that Muhammad, but rather we're talking about the Muhammad of the Arabian Peninsula, that he was sent to every single human being. He is the perfect example. Let's give some examples and attributes of this man Muhammad, whom all of you should know, and you should become acquainted with him. This man Muhammad, who was born in a very humble setting, born of two parents who didn't have the beliefs of the prophet who came before, who was the prophet Abraham, nor the beliefs of the prophet who came after Abraham, who was the prophet Jesus. Muhammad's parents had the beliefs of pagans, not the belief of the people of the children of Israel, nor the belief of the people of the time of Prophet Abraham, but rather they were pagans. This man Muhammad, he was born in a poor setting. He was not a rich man. And he, before he became a prophet, was well known in the city of Mecca as being someone who was never known to lie. How many people you know in the city of Newark or anywhere else that you can say that is 30 years old or 40 years old and has never ever been known to tell a lie? I don't think there's anyone sitting here, me at the top of the list, may Allah forgive us, that can have that attributed to his record, that he has been known never to lie. This was the example of an attribute of that man named Muhammad before he started to preach Islam. Before he started to preach Islam. This man, Muhammad, he used to go to a cave on the outskirts of the city of Mecca because he didn't like what was going on inside the city itself. The people had gone away, had deviated from the teachings of the Prophet Abraham. And he didn't like that. So he used to withdraw himself in seclusion to a cave. And he used to meditate. And he used to think. And he used to ponder deeply, looking out into the universe. And he used to call on his Lord. Even though he didn't know the details of that religion that was about to be introduced to him, he knew the general aspects that what they were doing in the valley of Mecca was not correct. It is not proper that an idol should be set up and should be worshipped, or that God should be worshipped, Allah should be worshipped using this idol to get close to him. That a tree should not be cut down and manufactured, or ivory or copper or any other metal, or oatmeal or barley or wheat should be constructed into some type of statue, and the Lord of the world should be called on through that thing. Nor should any human being be called on or called through to get to the Lord of the world. Muhammad knew this. So he used to retreat and go to this cave. And then on one day, when he had reached the age of 40, the angel who was well known to both of us, Muslim and Christian, and Jew if there are any here, well known, that angel that is called Gabriel, in the Arabic language, Jibreel. Gabriel, the angel, came to him. And he said, while he was in the cave, that is Prophet Muhammad, before he became a prophet, he said to him, read. And the Prophet Muhammad, once again, before he was a prophet, he said, I'm not able to read, because Muhammad could not read, nor could he write. He was considered what we call illiterate. He could not read, nor could he write. So the angel said to him, read. He said, I'm not able to read. And the sight of seeing that angel, everywhere he turned when he told him to read, everywhere he turned, that angel would appear. He said, read. He said, I'm not able to read. And then he said a third time, read. Read in the name of your Lord who creates. And he said he embraced me. This is the words of the Prophet Muhammad. Not the words in the Quran, but the words of the Prophet Muhammad himself. He said that angel embraced me. And he embraced me, and it was a tight embrace. He said, read in the name of your Lord who creates. Created the human being from that thing that is placed with the sperm of the man and placed in the womb of a woman. Read in the name of your Lord who creates the human being from that thing that when the sperm reaches the egg, it hangs on the wall of the uterus of the woman. Read in the name of your Lord who created that. Created the man from that. He created the human being and he taught the human being what he didn't know before. And from that day, those first verses of the Quran that came down, that man Muhammad became a prophet.